I moved out in December, I never planned on being back with Martell. I've caught him at this point in October. After March, finding out, we're trying to reconcile. I'm thinking our marriage has been good.
This is all before the show?
All before the show.
This is all before
2017.
the show. So in 2017, you got fed up with Martell cheating on you. You admitted to moving out into an apartment, and you were seeing a guy while you were separated, and the guy performed oral on you. I got it. When you two were going through this infidelity, did you stay with Martell all those years because you did not want this other woman to win?
No, I'm not in no competition with anybody. When I found out in 2017, I wasn't just gonna run away from my marriage because I understand that he's a person with imperfections. I stayed was because I was giving him the opportunities to get it together because he's very good at making you think that things are together. The reason I have a hard time, even now to this day, being anything with Martell, because Martell, I would say we're not friends, we ain't associates, we are nothing but the father and the...
For years, Melody Shari kept quiet. She smiled through the cameras, stayed professional on screen, and let people talk. Fans saw her grace, her poise, and her ability to rise above the noise. But behind that calm exterior was a storm she'd been holding back, a storm involving broken trust, betrayal, and business gone wrong. Now, Melody is finally speaking out. After months of speculation, legal whispers, and online debates, she's ready to share her truth about what really happened between her and one of reality TV's most powerful names, Carlos King. The man once seen as her creative partner, her ally, and even her friend has now become her biggest adversary. And what Melody just revealed about their legal battle has the entire entertainment world on edge.
To be real with you, that has been one of the things, Carlos, at times that have made me feel like I want to walk away.
Really? From the show?
Yeah.
You never said that to me.
I thought we were doing an exclusive interview.
Because this isn't just a story about contracts and television rights, it's a story about power, respect, and the price of standing up for yourself in an industry that often silences Black women who dare to demand fairness. So how did we get here? How did two people who once built dreams together end up in a courtroom, fighting over ownership, betrayal, and truth? Let's break it all down. When Love and Marriage Huntsville first hit TV screens, it was a breath of fresh air. The show gave audiences something different: successful Black entrepreneurs navigating love, business, and betrayal in real time. And at the center of it all was Melody Shari, a woman with vision, drive, and undeniable star power. Carlos King, known across the industry as one of reality TV's masterminds, saw that potential early.
Because look, a lot of y'all have petitioned. And I know a thing or two about a petition. A lot of y'all have petitioned for Basketball Wives to be canceled. I've seen a lot of messages like, why is this show still on? We're over it. It's stale. I disagree. I think Basketball Wives has, when I say to y'all, Basketball Wives, it has a lot of potential. Y'all want to argue with me? Let's go.
He was the architect behind some of the biggest shows on television: The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love and Marriage, and others that shaped pop culture. When he met Melody, he knew she had it. Together, they turned Love and Marriage Huntsville into a franchise that millions tuned into every week. For a while, it seemed like a dream partnership. Melody was shining. The ratings were strong. The brand was growing. And Carlos, as the producer, was seen as the man who made it all possible. But success can be deceiving. Behind the scenes, things weren't as perfect as they looked. Melody began to feel a shift, subtle at first, but impossible to ignore. Creative decisions were being made without her input. Production meetings were happening without her knowledge.
That was a tough segment, but we got through it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we making her relevant right now? Like, I understand a couple of questions because we gotta discuss it, but the way this has been disrespectful is a problem.
I guess I gotta take my phone out there next.
That's why I don't him. Because he's stupid.
Oh, Lord.
My first issue is I have a problem sitting on a stage with someone who just makes things up. And my question is, where is the proof? Call them up. You're trying to put a side person in the level of your wife. Right. Disrespectful. What's wrong with you? I'm the mother of 4 of your kids and was married to you for 12 years, with you for 14. Let me be clear. If I was out here doing all this stuff, I'd be in the same boat you're in. But thank God I'm blessed and favored. You know why? Because obedience and disobedience are two different things, baby. Right. When people want to know why I don't fool with him, why I can't just be cordial with him and do, because it's things like this that have been occurring for years.
And slowly, she realized she wasn't just the face of the show, she was also being treated like a product. At first, she brushed it off. That's just business, she told herself. But when money started getting involved, when credits didn't line up, and when certain ideas she developed were suddenly being linked to other projects, that's when things got personal. According to sources close to Melody, she began reviewing her contracts carefully. And what she allegedly found didn't sit right. There were questions about intellectual property, questions about creative ownership, and most importantly, questions about trust. That's when Melody's tone started to change. She stopped smiling through everything. She started protecting her peace. And she quietly began preparing for a legal fight she never wanted but one she knew she had to face. But here's the twist. When Melody first tried to address things privately, she didn't come out swinging.
The word of the day is stop living in the past. The past is in the rearview mirror of your life. If you look at where you want to go, look at the windshield.
She tried to resolve the issues behind closed doors. She believed that professionalism and respect could fix what had gone wrong. But the more she tried, the more she realized the problem wasn't just business miscommunication. It was deeper. It was about power. Carlos King, with his industry experience and connections, allegedly held control over decisions that directly affected Melody's brand and income. She reportedly found herself locked out of key conversations about her own image and creative work. And when she started to ask for transparency, that's when the tension exploded. Insiders say Carlos saw her questions as challenges. And in Hollywood, challenging the system can cost you everything. Soon, rumors started spreading, online whispers that Melody had been cut out of deals, that her creative ideas were being used elsewhere without proper credit, and that she was fighting for her intellectual property. At first, Melody didn't say much. She stayed quiet while fans debated. But as the months went on, she realized silence wasn't protecting her anymore, it was protecting the very system that was taking advantage of her. So she decided to fight back. Melody's legal team reportedly filed documents that accused Carlos King of breaching agreements tied to Love Marriage Huntsville. The details of the lawsuit are still private, but insiders claim the dispute centers around ownership and profit sharing connected to the show and related projects. And while most people in her position might have settled quietly, Melody refused. Because for her, this wasn't just about a TV show. It was about integrity. It was about every time a woman in entertainment had been told to stay quiet, to not rock the boat, or to just be grateful for the opportunity. Melody wasn't about to let that narrative define her. Not anymore. Now, as this legal battle unfolds, the entertainment world is watching closely. Carlos King, usually outspoken and confident, has been unusually silent about the matter. His team has chosen to keep things under wraps, releasing minimal statements and focusing on his upcoming projects. But that silence, some say, speaks volumes. Meanwhile, Melody has finally started opening up, and what she's saying has fans rallying behind her like never before. In a recent live stream, Melody didn't hold back. She didn't name names directly, but her message was crystal clear. She talked about being betrayed by people she once trusted, about watching her ideas get taken and repackaged, and about finding the courage to fight back even when the odds were stacked against her. She said, "You can't keep building empires off someone else's foundation and expect it to last. Eventually, the truth will come out, and when it does, it'll shake everything." That line alone sent the internet into a frenzy. Supporters flooded her comments, praising her bravery and resilience. One fan wrote, "Melody has been through so much divorce, betrayal, and now this. But she keeps standing tall. She's showing every woman out there what strength looks like. And they're not wrong. Because while the headlines talk about contracts and lawsuits, what Melody's really fighting for is control over her name, her brand, and her legacy. But here's what makes this story even more intense. This isn't the first time people have accused Carlos King of taking creative control in questionable ways. Over the years, a few former cast members from his other shows have hinted at similar issues, feeling like their stories were edited or manipulated in ways that didn't reflect the truth. Some even claim they were promised things that never materialized once the cameras stopped rolling. Of course, none of those claims have ever been proven, but when you add them to what Melody's saying now, the pattern starts to look familiar. And that's why this legal battle isn't just about one show. It could reshape how reality TV treats its talent. If Melody wins, it could set a major precedent for other reality stars who feel exploited by production companies and networks. It could give artists more control over their creative work, something many have been fighting for in silence. But if Carlos wins, it reinforces the power dynamic that's already there, where producers hold all the cards, and the stars who bring these shows to life are left to accept whatever terms they're given. Either way, the outcome will send shockwaves through the industry. Still, the emotional toll of all this hasn't been easy for Melody. She's a mother, an entrepreneur, and a woman who's already survived public heartbreak. Going through another battle, this time against a powerful industry figure, takes strength most people can't imagine. Friends say she's had nights where she questioned if it was all worth it. Whether standing up for herself would destroy the brand she worked so hard to build. But every time she thought about walking away, she remembered why she started. She remembered the fans who believed in her. The women who saw themselves in her story. The little girls who watched her and realized they could dream big and own those dreams too. That's what keeps her going. In one emotional moment, Melody said something that stuck with a lot of people. Sometimes God lets you lose everything just to show you who's really for you. And when you see that truth, you can't go back. That line hit home for many. Because through every betrayal and legal battle, Melody has managed to keep her faith not just in herself, but in something bigger. Now, as the case moves forward, there are whispers that both sides might be sitting on receipts that could change everything. Insiders say Melody's legal team has documents and emails that prove she was excluded from certain deals involving her brand. Others claim Carlos's side is preparing to defend his record and expose what they see as a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. But here's the truth: regardless of who wins in court, Melody has already won something much more powerful: her voice back. She's no longer letting anyone else control her story. She's taken her pain, her betrayal, and her lessons and turned them into a message. A message about standing up for what's right, even when it costs you everything. And yet what nobody expected was how much this fight would reveal about the reality TV world itself. For years, fans have watched drama unfold on screen without realizing the real drama happens behind the scenes, in boardrooms, in contracts, in the fine print. Melody's story has pulled back the curtain. It's shown people that reality TV isn't always fair, that the people who create the most iconic moments often don't get the credit or compensation they deserve. And that's why her supporters are calling this more than just a lawsuit, they're calling it a movement. A movement for transparency. A movement for accountability. A movement for change. Melody's courage to speak up is inspiring others to do the same. Former castmates, businesswomen, even fans are now using their platforms to talk about fairness and respect in entertainment. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just Melody's story, it's the story of so many others who've been told to stay quiet. Now the question is, how will this end? Some insiders believe there's still room for a private settlement. That Carlos might offer a deal to make the case disappear quietly. But those close to Melody say she's not interested in hush money. She wants accountability. And knowing her, that's exactly what she'll demand until the very end. Whatever happens next, one thing is clear: Melody Shari is no longer playing defense. She's reclaiming her power, her voice, and her legacy on her own terms.